you might not know this being from the States, but I'm telling you now, Asian women in the States and Asian women in Asia are completely different people, okay? Listen to me. Asian women in the States and Asian women in Asia are completely different women. They do not carry themselves the same. They do not talk the same. They do not act the same. They do not dress the same. It is completely different, okay? Yo, what is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video, okay? Look, in this video, I'm going to be telling you guys what it's like dating in Vietnam and what it's like dating Vietnamese women from my point of view, okay? So I'm gonna give you guys some real life examples. It's so crazy. Recently, I went on a few dates with this girl. She could only speak Vietnamese, like no English, bro, at all, like very, very little English, if any. And so it was a very interesting experience. And so I will say, look, so I believe that there are, like, I don't want to put all of the women in Vietnam in a box, but I will say it's about 5 different categories that I could put out there that most of them will fit into in some way, shape, or form, especially when it comes to dating, right? So number 1 is the traditional local, okay? And that's what this girl would be considered. A traditional local is basically, she's born and raised in Vietnam. She has very limited exposure to Western culture. All she knows is Vietnam for the most part. She doesn't really speak English. She's going to be family oriented. She's going to be conservative. She's going to have a strong sense of duty and tradition, you know what I mean? So yeah, she's super Vietnamese, you feel me? Like 100% like all in with the Vietnamese culture, man, the ways of Vietnam. She's super with that, you feel me? When it comes to dating though, this type of girl is definitely like shy and reserved, and especially like with foreigners, you know what I'm saying? They're kind of cautious. They are definitely more long-term thinkers, like girlfriend and wife marriage type vibe, not really like, you know what I'm saying, something like short. And so my experience with this girl was very interesting, right? So I ran into a few issues. She, number 1, beautiful girl, awesome girl, good personality. We got along pretty well, but it was some issues that I ran into, right? So number 1, she came to my birthday party, I remember, and not a lot, but like a few people were at my birthday party and was like, oh, like felt some type of way because it's like I didn't give them all of my attention or like something like that. So I've learned, like, I think women in general, but like definitely like Vietnamese women, like they be needing a lot of attention. And I, unfortunately, do not have a lot of attention to give. I have a fun time and a good experience and a cool lifestyle, but attention, a lot of time I don't have to offer, unfortunately. And but she felt some type of way about that. So I think like she brought me a cake for my birthday too. So shout out to her, man. She was cool people though, you know what I mean? But so outside of that, right? So that was like the first like little issue we had. She was like, oh, she felt like I had her waiting at my party, but I'm like, what the fuck? Like I had a lot of people waiting. Like you're not special, you know what I'm saying? Everybody was waiting, bro. It's my party. Like I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like I do what I want to do, bro. It is what it is. You feel me? Anyway, but so outside of that, boom, that was our first time hanging out outside of our meeting wherever we met her, and then, you know, she came to my birthday party, but we didn't even hang out like after that. You know, I talked to her for a little while at the party, but of course I can't just sit here and talk to you like the entire party, which is kind of seems like more of what she wants. I'm like, bro, like what the heck? It's like 25 other people here, you know what I mean? I can't really just sit here and just talk to you, and we don't even speak English, so it's like it's too much going on, you know what I mean? And you know, it's a lot going on. But anyway, so outside of that, we ended up going to like this coffee shop, and you know that was cool too. But it was kind of odd, like in the Uber or Grab, you know, the driver obviously he could speak English, and so like it's low key was like kind of odd to me, kind of weird. Like she's like talking to him in Vietnamese. I have no clue what's being said though. I literally don't know what they're talking about at all, and that's like kind of, I don't like that feeling of just being like completely left out. And it's like, and I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know what he's saying to her. I don't know. They could be saying anything. I'm like, hell no. Like that's already like, I'm not, and it's not like she could just say, oh yeah, he said this, or she can't even say that because she can't speak English. You feel me? So that was kind of like a weird situation going on. And then on top of that, after we got to the place, it was chill, it was cool. And even like, I ain't gonna lie, using the Google Translate, I think because we both were like genuinely interested in each other, it wasn't that big of a barrier. Like it wasn't that big of a deal. She didn't have a problem with it. I didn't have a problem with it. We hung out all night, talked with the app all night or whatever. But I will say, communication isn't all about what you say. A lot of it is about how you say it. A lot of it is about timing. A lot of it is like the tone of your voice. A lot of it is whether you're joking, a little bit of joking, a lot of bit of joking, whether you're serious, whether all of this goes into a relationship and communicating when dating. And especially like as a guy, you know, you're supposed to be a leader, like you have to communicate a certain way, but it's almost impossible to do that when you aren't able to express yourself. You aren't able to give the jokes. You aren't able to have the perfect time, and you aren't able to, you know what I'm saying? You're going, like, you have to rely on an app to perfectly translate what you're saying in real time, and it doesn't really work as well. And that is like another like little issue that I ran into, and I'm like, damn, bro, this is actually like annoying. And it's like, you know, it just makes it more difficult, you know what I'm saying? It makes it more difficult to like her to understand me, get to know me, feel where I'm coming from, et cetera, stuff like that. And then on top of that, another issue, like it was a lot of issues, like I said, it was cool, but it was a lot of issues that I ran into like in this type of situation. I think, you know, for me, right, and I think other, like in Western culture, I think affection is more of a normal thing, common thing. Like it's not, unless I'm crazy, y'all let me know if I'm crazy or not, but it's not normal to like hold hands on the first date. If the vibes is there, the vibes is good, it's not completely normal to just hold hands, right? Or even kiss on the first date. That's not even completely out of the ordinary, right? If the vibes is right, you feel me? And so, but I think like her and her culture, I think they're way more reserved, and that's not completely normal. So it's like times where maybe I'll try to hold your hand, but it's like, she's like, I'm not sure about that. Like, I'm not ready for that. You feel me? Not like completely like dubbing me, but like, I'm not ready for that. And it's just like, it's hard for me to like pace the relationship, pace the dynamic, pace the way we're moving if I can't just lead it in the way that I want to. So that's like another issue that I ran into. And you know, she might show her way of affection in a different way, you know what I mean? So, but, and also it could be, maybe she just wasn't like extremely interested. Maybe she just like wasn't even interested in me like that, you feel me? But it didn't seem that way. It seemed like she was pretty, I mean, she brought me a cake for my birthday, so she had to be some type of interested. And I think also like I was saying earlier, I think like women, I don't know if this is all women, but she required a lot of attention, and I will say that, you know, unfortunately I just don't have that type of attention. But maybe it was also a thing of where like, I think like I was the first foreigner she was dating, and so she was very skeptical if I was really like trying to date her seriously or build something or really get to know her, if I was really interested in her. I believe that might have caused her to be way more strict and skeptical and of everything I do. So like, if I don't text back for a day, she might feel like, okay, he's not serious. And the truth is, bro, I'm just busy. I don't have time to text you back. Some days I'm not gonna text you back. I don't have time, bro. I literally just don't have time. And so yeah, so those were the issues I ran into dating that type of girl. But I think if you are interested in that, then you just know you have to have a lot of patience, because it's going to take time to build a connection. You can't really just build it how you usually would if you could just talk in English. And so yeah, especially if like, maybe if I do it again and again, like maybe I give it like 4 or 5 times, then I might understand how to do it more, blah, blah, blah. But just the first time, no English and no Vietnamese, bro, it's gonna be difficult. So I would say you definitely need to learn some Vietnamese as well, a lot of Vietnamese, and definitely just be patient, you feel me? So number 2 is the modern, I would say like Vietnamese Western hybrid. Okay, they are very tapped into their roots, but they are also very open. Not very open, but they are open, you know what I'm saying? They're down to experience new things. They aren't like they aren't as closed off. They usually know English. They might not know it perfectly. It might not be fluent. They might still have a very strong accent. They might still be learning very much so, but they are open to dating foreigners. They are open to learning English. They are open to Western culture. They aren't extremely influenced by it, but they are open to it. They don't just have a blind eye to it. It's not like it's just non-existent. The other girl I was just talking about, Western culture is non-existent. Outside of music, That's it. That's all she really knows, like music, and then like she might know like Selena Gomez. Like that's it, gang. You know what I'm saying? But she don't know Thug. She don't know who Young Thug is. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. So this girl, like the number 2, like the Western Vietnamese hybrid. Yeah, she's gonna be more open. She pretty much holds to her values. It's pretty much the same thing. I would say this is probably the most ideal girl that you could find if you're looking to date somebody with as least friction as possible. I'm gonna continue on the list, but I think this is, in my opinion, your best bet if you're looking for like a traditional Vietnamese woman, like a healthy relationship that's gonna work out this, that, and the third. I think this would be your best bet, okay? The hybrid. You know, she's still big on family. She's very respectful, and you know, it's cool for like if you want a long-term relationship or something like that, something more serious, but you also want something with some cultural connection to it. That's like perfect, okay? Now, number three is like this girl, but instead of being rooted in her Vietnamese culture, she is obsessed with Western culture, okay? Like she has the Westernized persona, okay? She acts like she's from the West, you know what I'm saying? She's like the Vietnamese IG baddie, like this is what we're gonna call that, okay? She thinks she's a Western girl. You would think she's never ever been in Vietnam, but she's born in Vietnam, from Vietnam, this, that, and the third, but she is obsessed with Vietnamese culture. She loves Instagram. She wants to be an influencer. She shows her body on the internet. All this type of stuff that these girls do in the West, she is going to be doing the same exact thing. But I think it's a bigger red flag because she didn't grow up like that. You know what I'm saying? Her parents didn't raise her like that. The culture doesn't support that. So yeah, and sometimes because of this, like going against the culture, she might be a little bit rebellious. I think it's important to like figure out why she is completely like throwing away her culture pretty much, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but every now and then, you feel me, like maybe like Vietnamese New Year, she gonna pop out in her little Vietnamese costume, this and the third, but any other time, man, she'll some IG baddie type vibes, man. And you know, hey, if that's what you like, you know, that's cool. I will say this, they are fun, a great time, spontaneous, they're down for whatever. Like, you'll have a good time, but I don't know if they are best for a long-term relationship. If you are down with like dating a IG baddie type girl, or a girl who just is obsessed with like a culture that isn't hers, like I'll say another thing that's odd too, like with these girls, I think like I think it's strange when I see like Asian women just obsessed, or like I guess it may be a fetish even, you could say, like with black men, right? And a lot of these women, they do tend to date black men. They like hip hop, they like Afro beats, blah blah blah, this, that, and the third, man. I prefer my girl to me, right? I don't want to be like let's say she's from Vietnam, right? I don't want to be the 7th black guy that she dated, right? I'm not interested in that, me personally. Like, you feel me? I'm personally not interested in that. And yeah, you feel me? I'm not interested in that. So, but yeah, so I just think that's just another type of girl. You feel me? Like I said, they are definitely fun and spontaneous and all of that stuff, man. But yeah, it's just like I said, you just gotta figure out why. Why is she like so into this culture? Why? Like, what does this mean for her? Why does she love this type of music? Why is she at all of these type of parties? Like, how long have she been doing it? You know what I'm saying? You gotta start asking questions, the real questions, you feel me? Like, you don't know. And then also, like I was saying with the rebellion, like if they are rebellious, like let's say their family doesn't come from a culture where it's like acceptable to date black guys, or let's say, you know, like the way she move isn't just like, she's just rebellious towards her culture. I think that would probably also just, I've never dated a girl like this, but I would assume that rebellion will also like go over to the relationship, and you will probably have issues like just trying to like lead the relationship and stuff like that. So like I said, good for fun, good time, this, that, and third, but like other than that, I mean, I'm not really sure if it's something serious. But next is the overseas Vietnamese, okay, that has returned to the land for whatever reason. Maybe she's just connecting with her roots, maybe she just wants a cheaper lifestyle, maybe she's just visiting, whatever the case may be, right? These are called Viet Qs. That's Vietnamese people who are Vietnamese. I think maybe they were born in Vietnam, or maybe they just lived there for a certain time. I don't know if you have to live there to be considered Viet Q, but anyway, they are Vietnamese people who grew up in another part of the world, the Western world, probably. So like, might have grew up in Germany, might have grew up in the USA, might have grew up in Australia, And these women are also very cool. I will say that they give a sort of, they make you feel like home. You know what I'm saying? They give you something that you're used to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they talk like girls that you know. They can relate to the jokes that you can relate to. They know all of the trends and stuff like that. They aren't necessarily like the Vietnamese baddie, like I was saying. They aren't necessarily overly obsessed with like black culture, Western culture, or anything like that. They are just from that culture, and so it's not like a obsession. It's just like a this is who I am type of thing, right? And I will say, where she is from, that is how she is going to act. You feel me? And so if she was born in the USA, she is going to act like a woman from the USA. And I remember somebody was talking about like I don't know what video it was, but they left a comment on the video like you didn't have to go to all the way to Vietnam to meet Vietnamese women. You could just went to like Gwinnett County, which is like a place in like in Georgia where it's like a lot of like Asian. And I was like, I think I commented like it's not the same. And the thing is like, you might not know this being from the States, but I'm telling you now, Asian women in the States and Asian women in Asia are completely different people. Okay? Listen to me. Asian women in the States and Asian women in Asia are completely different women. They do not carry themselves the same. They do not talk the same. They do not act the same. They do not dress the same. It is completely different, okay? I'm telling you that right now. Like, they are Westernized, 100%. It's completely different. It's not the same thing at all, bro. And I'm telling you right now, like, I'm just telling, bro, just trust me. It's not the same. I'm not gonna say necessarily in a good or bad way. Even though I personally would not date a Asian woman from the States, just because like I'm not really interested in dating women in the States in general. That's just another woman in the States. She just looks a little bit different with a little bit of cultural background. But for the most part, she's gonna be just like every single other girl in the States, or every single other girl in her area, because that's just normal human nature, right? You adapt to your society and who you're around and your friends and stuff like that. And so yeah, that's what they're going to do. If you meet these girls, they are going to act just how they grew up on, which is not crazy or out of the ordinary, but it's just something to take note. So if you aren't interested in American women, then you might not want to date this type of woman because she's going to act like an American woman, right? The dating process is going to be the same. She's going to have the same expectations. She's going to have the same talking points. She's going to have the same viewpoints on family. She's going to have the same viewpoints on working. Like, everything is pretty much going to be exactly the same, right? And the same with like European women or Australia, like whatever the case may be, bro, they're going to be the same. You know what I'm saying? Because that is who they are, and that's who their identity aligns with. And I will say a lot of times in the Asian community, from what I've seen, especially like where I grew up at, 90% black high school like outside of Atlanta, it is, what I see is like, because you stand out so much, you do your best to fit in, right? And so you take on these qualities of the people around you even more. Like, so that's why you see like Asian girls in Atlanta. Bro, if you've been to Atlanta, bro, you just know like baby hairs, lashes, like all that type of stuff. You don't necessarily see that. You don't see that in Asia. You're not gonna see girls like Asian girls with baby hairs and stuff like that, bro. You're not seeing that in Asia. I hate to break it to you. So, yeah, that doesn't really exist, okay? And if it does, I would say it's a red flag. You feel me? Like, there's no need for all, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, so they're going to be of their culture, and I think they overcompensate, and because they need to fit in, they kind of like just dish their culture and adapt to what's around them, and I think that just ruins the purpose of going to another country and trying to experience the culture. Like, you can just stay in America if you want to do that, or wherever you're from, you feel me? So that's another type, but once again, very cool. And like I said, you will have, like, it's easier to bond because you guys come from the same type of background. You guys can relate to the same type of things. You guys come from, like, even like, for example, if she grew up in the West, she might be down to smoke weed and shit. That isn't necessarily like going to be true for all of the girls in Asia. You know what I'm saying? Some, yeah, but Some not really, you feel me? But that's like more of a Western thing. It's normal in the West. If you try to just get like one of these traditional girls to hit a J, bro, it is likely not going to happen, you feel me? She could be down with it, but like usually that's somebody with a Western influence that's going to be down to do that type of stuff. So but yeah, fun time, cool time. You'll be able to bond with them, get the jokes off, listen to the same music, so you'll be able to like bond. But I don't know, it depends if that's what you want or not, you feel me? So but yeah, and then lastly, number 5, unless you want this type of relationship, just completely avoid it, okay? Now this is the opportunist, right? Okay, this is like I said, red flag, you feel me? Run away unless this is what you want. She is just an opportunist looking for opportunity, man. Looking for a guy with some money, looking for a guy that can change her situation, looking for a guy that can change her lifestyle. She can adapt his lifestyle, whatever the case may be, trying to get some money, trying to get some clothes, some shoes, some bills paid, this, that, and the third, man. Hey, but this isn't every culture. If you don't know the signs, you don't know the signs, man. If she asks you about anything that relates to paying for something and you just met, red flag, bro. I don't care if she talk about, oh, somebody's sick, guess what? She wants you to put up some money to help somebody that's sick. Groceries, whatever the case may be, bro. If it's about some money, bro, like, I'm out. Peace. Don't ever ask me about no money. I'm not giving you anything, you feel me? It's never happening. And truth be told, they could come from any of the previous categories, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna be charming, they're gonna be experienced, they're gonna know what they're doing. It might sound good, but you gotta, you know what I'm saying, read between the lines, you feel me? But, you know, hey man, I'm in my 20s, so I'm not that typical guy, you feel me? Yeah, they might think that I'm that, but like not really once they get to know me in conversation, like not really. Like they really definitely looking for expats, looking for older men, preferably, wealthier men for sure. And you know, it's not always for love, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times it's for, like I said, all the other stuff, something that's based in finances, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, but this has been my experience dating in Vietnam. Like I told you guys, I think number 2 is the most ideal situation. And it's not hard to find that, you feel me? It's not hard to find that. You just gotta put yourself in the right position. It helps if you know somebody that can introduce you to somebody. But yeah, but Vietnam is cool for dating. I think I ain't gonna lie to y'all though. I think because of the language barrier, I don't know if Vietnam is the best place to find your wife. I do think the women here are amazing, but because of the difficulty in dating a local Vietnamese woman, it kind of like just gets in the way of a lot of stuff. But if you go to other places like the Philippines or something like that, you'll be able to find like a local that speaks English, and you know, it's easier to relate that way. You can easily communicate, blah, blah, blah. It's way more open of a place to date. But Vietnamese, dating in Vietnam is fun, right? I'm not sure if it's good for a long-term situation unless you really do find the right girl, but you will have a lot of fun dating in Vietnam. And so I don't knock it at all. Hey, I tried it, it's true. And like, I would definitely do it again. I have no issues dating in Vietnam, and it's pretty cool, pretty chill. A lot of options. And I do want to say, of course, not everyone fits into these categories. I'm just trying to make it easy and simple for the video, you feel me? That has been my experience dating in Vietnam. If you guys have any experience with Vietnamese women, let me know, am I wrong? And where am I wrong at? Anything, I just want to hear you guys' opinion. Let me know, man. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch up with y'all later, all right?